Hola, welcome to the Drop Dead Sisters podcast. My name is Francesca,
And my name is Ninoshka.
and here we are today recording episode number 3. Yay!
Woohoo!
Thank you guys for all of the support that you've given us in our previous 2 episodes, and we will make sure that we keep working very hard to bring you guys more interesting cases.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about mass shootings. This is one of the topics that we have in our to do list, but we decided to cover it now since it's a hot topic and we have to comment about it.
Yep. And we also want to thank our friend Jali. She is one of our main supporters, and she requested us to cover it as well, even though we did have it in our list of episodes that we want to cover. But given the fact that lately there have been, so many very recent, we thought that it's time for us to, just talk about it and bring some awareness.
Only this year of 2019, there have been 17 mass shootings reported, with the biggest one being the one recently happened in El Paso, Texas, Saturday, August 3rd of this year, where 22 people were brutally killed by an insane individual.
Oh my God, yes. We this is crazy. This actually happened when we were recording our first episode. We literally found out right before we began to record, and like I was feeling some type of way too. Like I was feeling very sad. I couldn't believe that happened, and we want to bring awareness about these horrible events that keep happening more and more often, and try to make sense of what can make someone randomly target a group of people on a certain place and just open fire with the intention of killing as many individuals as they can and just leaving chaos behind.
I don't know how can they can just go with this, and
The intentions of just going there and fucking everyone up, like it's like premeditated 100%, and it's very sad.
it's not one person. They want to kill everybody. That's what makes it ridiculous. But we'll be dividing this episode into two sections. Section number one, it's going to be what makes a mass shooter, and section number two is going to be the top mass shootings. We hope that these horrible events come to an end and that no more innocent lives are taken away from this world in that disgusting way.
Yep, we hope you guys enjoy this episode, and without further ado, let's just jump right into the episode.
A mass shooting is a horrible event in which four or more people are killed without counting the shooter. Of course, there is no definition or explanation as to why mass shootings happened. However, there are motives, feelings, and anger that can trigger a person to commit them. Psychology and mental health also play a huge role in these events and how they are planned by an individual. There are many signs that we have to be very aware of when it comes to strange activities that we may notice from an individual.
Yep, definitely. And reports show that active shooters often share characteristics and exhibit similar behavior in weeks and months before the attack. A study made by the FBI states that 94% of mass shooters are men. Most active shooters are also either single, with a 57%, or they were divorced or separated, with a 22% of the population. According to the study, mass shooters are mostly white, with over 60% of the American population. Our president, Donald Trump, blamed numerous facts, including video games, mental illness, and racist hate for the shootings. And yes, there are a lot of violent video games out there available to young audiences nowadays. That's something that's like very available, like Call of Duty, even Fortnite. Like,
It's everywhere.
yeah, we even allow our kids to, play Fortnite, and they sometimes play, a lot, but everything with moderation, of course. And let's be honest, the main reasons for mass shootings are mental illness and racism, in our opinion.
That is completely true.
Yep. And not because somebody plays a violent video game, they are just going to go and shoot a bunch of people. But, well, depending on many factors about how your day to day life is going, and if you're very stressed, that is what may trigger someone to commit such a horrible crime.
The main issue with mass shooters is mental health. Most mass shooters have displayed concerning behavior in many different aspects, such as being abusive, harassment, violent behavior, and bullying. Most shooters spend a week or more planning their attacks, and
Wow.
more than half of them told someone about their plans or similar weird comments. This is a huge
Oh,
sign.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
someone ever tells or shows signs that they're having thoughts of hurting someone or even themselves, please say something about it. Because a person can only give so much advice. In many cases, the individual may need professional help to help get those terrible thoughts out of their heads.
Yeah, definitely.
If there's a way, you know?
Yeah, because, if we hear somebody saying that they're intending to harm someone or even harm themselves, it's important that we say something. And sometimes, yes, we can give advice to a point, but sometimes we need to leave it to a professional. That's just how it is.
Yeah, you need to scream in that moment because you never know how many lives you can save, you know?
Yep.
Homegrown Americans, which are basically US terrorists, often perform terrorist attacks because they have felt unfairness, discriminated against, or targeted by others. So they want to take revenge
Yep.
or because of a political disagreement, you know?
Yep, that literally happens all the time. They basically feel like, people are against them or the world is against them, and they just want to take revenge. Is as simple as that. They just want to take revenge, and maybe even by a political disagreement. That's why you shouldn't discuss race, politics, and sex basically in places, because no matter if it's your family or your friend, that can definitely cause a disagreement, and it may trigger somebody to do things like this. Reports also show that active shooters had stressors, which are things in their life that are causing them stress at the time of the shooting. These stressors range from financial problems, drugs and alcohol, marital problems, mental health issues, which is the biggest issue, and even, the death of a relative. Somebody died and, you can't take it. I know of many people, not many, okay, let me not be so extra, but I know of people who have lost a loved one, and they lost their shit. Like,
Yeah.
it can happen.
That just triggers them to do something crazy. You never know what goes through a mind of a person.
Oh, and listen to this. Just 25% of mass shooters have ever been diagnosed with any sort of mental illness before the attack. So definitely this is a random attack triggered just by many stressors, just the stress, like the adult life, the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like nowadays not a lot of people are aware of the mental illness. Sometimes they're like, that's normal. That just will just go away eventually. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That
That's just, it's weird. It's mental illness is not a joke, people. Okay,
It's not.
Look for help.
Yep. Here are some of the most notorious mass shootings that happened in America after the year of 2012.
On Friday, June 20th of 2012, in Aurora, Colorado, during the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises, 12 people were killed and 70 injured. The shooter was 24-year-old James Holmes. He had been showing signs of mental instability shortly before he dropped out of the university he used to attend. He bought the guns legally at 2 different sporting goods stores. He also purchased more than 6,000 rounds of ammunition online.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
online.
crazy. Online, girl, like, wow.
It's as easy as a click of a button, literally. The night of the event, just 18 minutes into the movie, he threw 2 tear gas canisters. After both canisters explode, he started shooting first at the ceiling and then at the crowd. He was dressed head to toe in protective gear. He used an AR-15 rifle, a 12-gauge shotgun, and at least one of 2 40 caliber handguns. In the trial, he pleaded insanity. Tell that to Shanti, bro.
Tell that to Shanti. Like, come on, that's what they do. Yeah, they play for insanity. Anyway,
He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Thank God.
that is crazy. Like, I remember when that happened. That's when I had just recently moved to America, to South Carolina, and I remember seeing this guy, with the orange hair and shit in the trial.
That
It
was
looked,
crazy. I remember I
yeah.
was still in Puerto Rico, and when I saw that, because I didn't know that stuff like this could happen, probably, I don't know, in my ignorance in Puerto
Yep.
Rico, because this doesn't happen over there.
No.
Uh, it doesn't.
It doesn't. They in Puerto Rico, they basically kill, just because of women or because of drugs. That's it. Like we're not trying to mess around with anybody or trying to kill people in bunch. Like it's not it was new to us.
Yeah, this
Like
is some
basically.
crazy shit that doesn't happen over there, so that's why I say it was new. That's true.
And can you imagine being in a movie theater? Like, that's like a dark place that, like it's dark, the lights are dim, you're chilling with your family or your friends with the popcorn and shit, and suddenly a shooting happened. I said shooting like four times, shootings. And I'm not trying to make a joke, I'm sorry, but because this is, such a delicate topic. But basically, I go to the movies a lot and I would be terrified. And the movie that we're watching, the Batman movie, most people thought that the shots were coming from the movie, even
It was
though,
part of an act, yes.
yeah, it was just 18 minutes into the movie. Like, probably, there weren't even shots in the movie yet. But anyway, so here another of these crazy sad stories. On Wednesday, December 12th of 2012, in Newtown, Connecticut, 20-year-old Adam Lanza shot and killed his own mother in
Jeez.
their home. Lanza then drove to the Sandy Hook Elementary School and using his mother's Bushmaster XM15E2S rifle. Like, damn, that's a name. And also 10 magazines with 30 rounds each. He shot his way through a glass panel next to the locked front entrance of the school. He was wearing black clothing. He was wearing yellow earplugs, sunglasses, and an olive green utility vest. That day, he killed 26 people, including 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7 years old,
Oh my
and
god.
6 adults staff members. Most of the shooting occurred in two of the first grade classrooms. I
Oh my
remember seeing
god.
this story. It was December. I remember that Christmas was just coming up. And I just remember thinking of my kids. They were at home with a babysitter and I felt so sad. Like I felt like I couldn't work anymore that day. I just wanted to cry. I was like so
It's an
sad.
elementary school, you know? We see all these other mass shootings, but this one, I feel like it was so touching because so many children were killed, you know,
20.
so
That's like
many,
a
they were
whole
so
classroom.
little,
That's
so
like a whole
babies. How
classroom.
can you just have the heart? I just think about their scary faces, how petrified they should have been.
Well,
Oh
most
my
of them probably
god.
didn't even know what was going on. That's the thing. They're so innocent. And then there comes this guy. But basically, all the guns that he used had been purchased legally by his mother, Nancy Lanza, the one that he killed before going to the school and shooting everyone. She was a gun enthusiast. Like she was like into guns. It said that she even took him to shooting ranges sometimes with her, just not to leave him alone in the house. But basically, she actually was into guns. And friends and neighbors say that she was responsible with weapons. It's not like she was irresponsible. Not because you're into weapons or let's say any type of thing that you do hunting or whatever, it means that you're going to go and kill somebody. You can be a gun enthusiast, but the thing is that Lanza had Asperger's syndrome and obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder, sorry. So he had mental illness. So maybe the ability for a person with mental illness to have access to guns, maybe that's where the problem is. After shooting everybody in school, Lanza actually shot and killed himself. In the lower rear portion of his head, he like shot himself there with a Glock 20 SF in one of the classrooms. So no trial, no nothing. He ended people's lives and then he ended his own. Oh, and his mom.
I don't want to say I don't I'm not happy about someone's death, but I'm in a way kind of happy that he did that. Even though I would have liked someone else to kill him, not himself, but at
Oh
least
my
he's not in
god.
this world anymore. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah, we feel rage because we're talking about an elementary school where our kids go to and they're all innocent and no matter where a mass shooting happens, it really affects everyone. But this person had mental illness. He did have mental illness, which is something that probably needed to be treated better. It said that he spent a lot of time in his house basement playing violent video games and other video games, just video games in general. But he committed this horrible crime and then ended his life as well. So it's a very sad story.
Well, let's head to the next one. On Sunday, June 12th of 2016, 29-year-old Omar Mateen shot and killed 49 people and injured 53 others. This was a massive shooting inside Pulse, a gay nightclub here in Orlando, Florida. Pulse was hosting Latin Night, which was a weekly Saturday night event drawing a primarily Hispanic crowd. Whoever lives in Orlando or has been in Orlando, you know that there's a lot of Hispanics here.
Yep.
About 320 people were inside the club. Omar Mateen approached the club on foot, armed with a semi-automatic rifle and a 9mm Glock 17 semi-automatic pistol. Mateen said the shooting was triggered by a U.S.-led bombing strike in Iraq that killed a military commander in May of that year. So, he just wanted revenge on someone that probably he didn't even know.
These are hate crimes. Everything is revenge.
Mateen was holed up inside and holding hostages after a 3-hour standoff. He was shot and killed by police officers.
Yep, he basically had people inside the club, even after he had stopped the shooting, just holding them hostage, basically. That's just how you say it. They were holding people hostage. Yes. And after the cops had to basically they had a standoff with him for over 3 hours, and then he was finally just shot and killed by the cops. And to be honest, now this one, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Like, what the hell?
That's ridiculous. He just went in there with the biggest wants to kill all these innocent people for no reason, just because, well, there are a lot of theories about why he went in there, but I don't believe none of them. I just feel like this is just a psychopath that wanted to kill people that night. You know what I mean?
And they were all mostly Hispanic. Of course, they were all, happy, Fuck it if we're happy. There's nothing wrong with gay people. There's nothing wrong with it. But there comes Omar and just very hateful, just walks in, killing all the happy people. That was fucked up. To this day, everywhere you go in Orlando, in the city, everything is pride colors. Mm-hmm. Including in the Orlando City soccer field they have. They always keep 49 seats that nobody can sit on, and in the new stadium they're all colored in basically pride colors. And when you go there, I feel like I've been there, and you feel, I don't know, I just stare at those empty seats, and I can't even say that because I just get all sentimental.
I get goosebumps every time I drive through that place. I don't even know, and then when I look, I'm like, oh my god. And then you see all the messages and everything that everybody just went over there and wrote
that memorial
and everything,
Yeah,
the memorial, exactly. And that's just
one
heartbreaking.
day I was driving through there months after it happened, and I didn't even know where Pulse was, because it's not like we hang around that area or nothing. But I remember that I passed by, and I'm all about the vibes. I felt like this vibe, and when I look to the right, I see the club, and I just cried by myself in the car because it was so sad. But
that was
moving
crazy.
On,
sorry.
It was crazy. No, you're good. It's something that if you guys let us or listen to us, we will keep on talking about it and about how sad it is.
Yeah, it's just that I remember I came from Tampa that day and stayed at your house because I was living in Tampa by that time.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and then our uncle called me from Tampa, and he was like, are you guys okay? Did you guys, because I told them that we were going to go out that night, and they were petrified. He called me at 7:30 in the morning to ask if we were okay because of everything that had happened.
Yeah, it was
that was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Another hateful crime was committed on the night of Sunday, October 1st of 2017 by a 64-year-old man called Stephen Padlock. He was from Mesquite, Nevada, and he basically opened fire on a crowd in a Harvest Music Festival on the Las Vegas Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. He killed 58 people and wounded 422 people.
Oh my God.
This was massive.
That was the biggest one.
And even only 58 died and 422 were wounded. with all the shooting and people going crazy around, the injury total was up to 851 people
Wow.
basically injured, just because of course people are just running around going crazy. Like, I remember I went to a concert. It was like a mini festival in Puerto Rico, and that was the very first shooting that I experienced. And I remember thinking that there were fireworks. I thought there were fireworks until I saw that the artist that was singing Zion Baby, he was singing, and I just heard the mic drop. It's not even a joke. Like, that's why sometimes I don't think mic drop is funny, because those memories come into my head hearing that mic drop, and then people running and chaos, and I see a guy shot, like bleeding. Like, the details are very graphic. I'm not gonna get into it, but chaos happens, and that's why a lot of people were injured in this incident. So Paddock, which was the shooter, he was staying in the Mandalay Hotel on a suite in the 32nd floor. In his room, he had an arsenal of weapons that included a 14 AR-15. He had 14 AR rifles. AR-15. How do you say that? Yeah.
14
He had,
AR-15 rifles.
yeah, I just can't even believe that I'm reading that he had 14. I thought that was the name of the gun, but no, he had 14 AR-15 rifles, and they were all equipped with bump stocks, and 12 of which had 100 rounds of magazine. So he was packed. Oh, wait, he also had 8 AR-10 rifles, which is another type of AR rifle. Instead of 15, it's AR-10. He had 8 of those, and a bolt action rifle and a revolver. So this dude, in his hotel suite, he had all of this dangerous equipment. Because why? Because this is premeditated. He meant to hurt people. When he reserved his hotel suite, he wanted to have the view of the concert. Why? Because he had all the intention to do this. He fired more than 1,100 rounds of ammunition from his room window.
Oh my God.
After the shooting stopped and police found out where the shots were coming from, which is crazy, coming from a hotel window, Paddock was found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunwood shotgun. So he killed himself.
Of course they do. That's what it gives me a good feeling that they're not no longer in this world, but it frustrates me because it's like I just want justice, because
No justice.
death is the easiest way out. You know what I mean?
They'll get their justice. They will come. I hope that reincarnation exists in this case, and that he comes back and pays for all the fucked up shit that he did in his next life. At the time of the shooting, he said that he was divorced, but he had a girlfriend. His motive remains undetermined because he killed himself.
He was just a sick bastard. That's all.
He took his motive with him. He just left us to speculate what happened. Like, did you have any mental issues? He never had any issues with police before. I think he worked in real estate, and the only thing that he has in the police records are just like traffic tickets or something like that. So basically, we will never know why he did it. We only know that this was a hateful crime. And it seems like Paddock may have also considered attacking other events, because police search his internet history, and he had searched other different events and places that were going to happen. And unfortunately, that was their target, that Harvest Music Festival. And it's really sad.
I feel like he probably just went and searched for these other places. He was like, let me see how this one turns out, and let me see if I can get to the other one. Like, what the heck?
He was prepared. He knew what he was going to do. Everything worked out for him. He was able to shoot everybody. If you guys look for videos, which I normally don't like looking for things like this, but I was doing research, and I found that when you see videos about the survivors who explain the incident, I don't want to get into details, just look for it, but that is heartbreaking. The same way as the other stories that we've said, and the other two that we are going to cover next, these stories are hateful and just heartbreaking.
You just think that when you're watching one of these videos, you think you're watching an action movie, you know?
It's sad. It's so sad.
It seems surreal. Let's jump to the next one. On Wednesday, February 14 of 2018, so Valentine's Day, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, an expelled student from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, opened fire with a semi-automatic rifle in Parkland, Florida. Again in Florida. He shot and killed 17 students and staff members and injured 17 others. Shortly before dismissal time, Chris entered the school building armed with a legally purchased AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle and multiple magazines. All these guys had so many rifles. It's ridiculous.
Let me say something. I'm very impressed with how good you are saying the name of guns.
Right? Like I know what I'm saying, girl.
I was struggling with the AR 15, 14, 10, 25. Like I didn't know how to say it, and there you go.
Here I
just
am
saying it like
I cannot say 2019, but I can say all these gun names. It's ridiculous.
Are you a gun enthusiast?
Not
I'm
yet.
joking. I'm joking. Go back to this horrible crime. Sorry.
Back. I'm back. He activated the firearm and began firing at students and teachers. So he started shooting at everybody.
He basically activated the fire alarm in the school. So you know the sound that's like very annoying. And then he began to shoot at everyone. So of course people are probably gonna be confused. But the crazy thing, and I'm just gonna say it, is that it caused confusion because there had been a fire drill earlier that day. Isn't that crazy?
Do you think he knew about that? That's why he went there, because people would be like, hey, what the heck is going on? Didn't we already did this?
And that's weird because I guess that nobody like had the reaction they have to have, because they probably thought that it was probably like a second test or something. We're talking about high school kids. Like
exactly.
On a regular day of school. I don't know. This is so sad.
Yeah. After the shooting, he fled the school, mixing in with the other students that were trying to escape the school. He then walked to a mall where he purchased a soda and also walked to a fast food restaurant later. He was stopped by police and arrested. So he just went out like nothing happened,
Because he escaped. Because he escaped the school, basically with, I believe, with other students that were trying to escape. He blended in. So that's why he was able to just leave and go get a soda.
And chill. Leave and chill.
Yep.
The FBI stated that a YouTube user with the username Nicholas Cruz posted a message back in September 2017 about becoming a school shooter. But the user could never be confirmed as being the shooter. I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know how. I don't know how it's kind of the same name, but they couldn't identify him.
But how that they don't know with IP addresses and tracing back who created that, that channel. I feel like, I don't know, maybe there are details out there and the reports we read, maybe they were not that accurate, but I swear that I did all the research and that's what it said. Like, they did not mention anything else about this apparent YouTube channel.
That's weird. Well, Nicholas had a behavioral and had been diagnosed with depression, autism, and ADHD. His adoptive mom also passed away, leaving him orphaned 3 months before the shooting. So there we go. One of the reasons what triggered him, in my opinion.
He was adopted when he was little. He was adopted, and then he was living with his adoptive parents. His dad passed away, I believe it was in 2004. And then the adoptive mom, then she died last year. Well, sorry. Yeah, that was last year. In 2017, sorry. When did this happen? That's how you lose count. I feel like Trump right now, that asshole. I feel like Trump right now, like getting mixed up with the mass shootings. Like, it's crazy. Like, this happened in
last
2018.
Year. This was last year.
Yeah. So after the mom died, he probably lost it. You see, somebody can die. This can also be a trigger. Like, these are signs. These are things that can happen.
Yeah. In March of this year, a judge indicted Nicholas on 34 charges.
He indicted Nicholas.
Oh, indicted? I'm sorry. I have issues with that word too. He was indicted with 34 charges, 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and he is scheduled for a trial in January 2020. We're waiting for that, B.
We're waiting for that. We're definitely, even though I feel bad, I feel bad to a certain point because, I believe, again, in psychology, everything comes since you are born, and he went through adoption. You never know how his parents were with him. I didn't see any bad reports about him having a tough childhood, but just the fact of that trauma going since he was little, you never know the mom he had in real life. Maybe she did things in pregnancy that caused some type of trauma. And here is when it comes the nurture situation.
And maybe
Nature or nurture.
the parents were the ones controlling all this crazy behavior. And once the mom died, there's no one else there to control him or stop him. And that's when he just lost it and went crazy.
Yep.
After this horrible incident, Parkland students founded the Never Again Foundation, which is an advocacy group against gun violence. And unfortunately, in March of this year, shortly after the first anniversary of the shooting, two Parkland survivors committed suicide. Oh my God.
Yeah, girl, like when I was doing the research, I thought it was only one that I know I heard of, but it was two. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it was one of the girls that survived and the father of one of the ones that died there, that he committed suicide also.
It's crazy. Like right now I get all the goosebumps. Like I feel so bad when I read that. I'm like, the trauma that, oy, that's
all these
crazy.
kids
Like,
must have all these kids that survived.
I'm telling you, I hear the word mic drop and I still get that trauma of when I heard that shooting in San Germán in Puerto Rico when I used to live there. I don't imagine this dude just shooting like that in school, like when the alarm is going off. Like that's crazy.
In American Horror Story, the first one, that they show that part that he shoots in the school. Yeah. And they show you like that video in a part where you see the students' reaction listening to all this. And I remember that there I felt all these goosebumps and stuff. And whenever I see it, I get the same feeling when I see all these true videos that you mentioned earlier also about how the kids are just hiding and whatever kids, because this most likely are kids, because most of them are in like high schools and schools around USA.
I feel like that season of American Horror Story came out when shortly after this happened. I think it came out after this happened, and I felt, like makes company. Like I felt weird. Like they even aired that on TV after that happened, because I don't know. I feel like that's such a sensitive topic.
That is completely true. It's very sensitive.
But they showed you how it is. Yep. That's the thing, The last story that we're going to be talking about is the one that just happened last week. On the morning of Saturday, August 3rd, there was another mass shooting that happened in Walmart in El Paso, Texas. That's the one that we spoke about when we were recording our first episode of John Benet. I remember that we just found out about that, like I mentioned at the beginning, and it was crazy. We were just like with another vibe. Like we were very excited about recording our first episode, and when we found out about this shooting, I feel like my vibe completely changed.
We had to mention it. Like we definitely had to mention it.
Yeah. So 21-year-old Patrick Wood Crusius, I believe that's his name, Crusius, he walked into Walmart and killed 22 people and injured 24. He walked in, like I saw a picture when he was walking into the Walmart, like with the big headphones, like the ones I'm wearing right now, just soundproof, not to hear anything, while he shot and killed innocent people just shopping at Walmart on a regular Saturday. He apparently used a WASR-10 rifle, which is like a semi-automatic civilian version of the AK-47. I'm not as good saying gun names like Nino people, okay? So bear with me. I was struggling to say those. I never say gun names. I just say a gun.
What are you trying to say? I never say them either.
It's horrible. It said that he was firing on customers in the parking before he even walked into the Walmart. And right now, there are no more details about this case because the FBI, of course, is still investigating the shooting. But for now, listen to this. It has been determined that this was a domestic terrorist crime and or a hate crime. No shit.
No joda, de verdad.
No shit. He had what do you call that letter that he wrote?
A racist, a memo. It was a racist memo.
Yeah, he wrote that, like a few pages, and he posted it on this website, which other people who have committed like hateful crimes like this have posted. He then took it off.
He's praising them.
Yeah, he posted that. It's crazy. Yeah. Most of the people who do things like this, they will say something to someone, or they just want to take credit for the crime. And to be honest, this was such a racist crime. with all the shit that's going on with America right now, and racism and Trump supporters. That's just basically how it is. And we don't want to get involved in this. This is not to bring any type of politics topics or racism or anything like that. We're just bringing awareness of what is actually going on
And it
right
was
now in
facts because
America.
I saw, I think it was on Facebook, about the pictures that he had posted on his social media, and he basically put, Trump's name, but made
Yeah.
in his guns.
Yeah.
And also, I think I read this. I'm not sure if it's true, but what I read was that he first went into the store to see how many Hispanics he could see to see if it was
Yeah.
kind of worth it. He
It's
went
El
inside,
Paso.
looked, then he went back out, and then he grabbed everything and he came inside, ready to shoot.
It's
Or
El
from
Paso.
outside.
Like, you know that there are a lot of Mexicans there. And I was so scared when I found out, because the father of my kids and his wife and my daughter, my stepdaughter, they all live in El Paso. He's deported, not deported.
Not
He's
deported?
basically serving. He's not deported. He's not, okay. He's in Afghanistan serving with the military, okay? So he's deployed, not deported, deployed.
There we go.
Yeah, he's deployed, but his wife resides there. And thank God, Gangan, like my daughter, she is with her mom in another state. But basically, I texted Leslie right away, like, are you okay? Like, I just wanted to make sure, and I wonder, and I hope not that nobody that they knew, or it doesn't matter if they knew it, to be honest. Let me not say that, because everybody that lost their life in this case and in any other case that we discussed or didn't discuss is sad. They're gone
It's crazy.
because of hate, because of racism, because of somebody who's stressed out. These are sad and devastating situations. They have to stop now. Gun control needs to be regulated now, and mental illness needs to be treated better now.
Everything is too available to everyone, and we have to accept that not everyone's mind works the same or feel the same.
Yep.
Maybe I have the mental state to have a gun, but not you, because of the situations that you went through. That's a lot of things that people need to think.
Yeah.
And what may not be a big deal to you may be a huge deal to others, which may trigger these mass shootings and other hateful crimes.
Yeah, there is no excuse whatsoever to commit these hideous hate crimes. But the reality is that they are happening more and more often than ever, and we need to come together to end it. We do.
Yeah. If you like someone if you know that someone that is acting strange or going through depression or mood swings, try to help them. Try talking to them. And if you feel like it's like threatening, please tell someone else and report it to the authorities. Please don't wait.
Please do it. So we just basically wanted to tell you guys, about what can make or basically trigger someone to commit mass shootings. We also told you about other stories that have affected us. All of them have, and we really didn't have time to cover all of them, but we just wanted to basically cover the main facts, what they did, how easily it was for them to purchase guns. Most of these cases, all the guns were legally purchased, and we just want to bring some awareness. People, please, if you see something weird, say something. And if you see someone struggling, say something. There are hotlines, that you can call, that they can talk to professionals that can help them, deal with the stressors that they're having at that time. Okay?
Yep. Mental illness is not a joke, people.
Yep.
It's not a joke.
Treat it.
Well, just to let you guys know, we just launched our official Drop Dead Sisters website. It's pretty cool. It's amazing. Go check it
so
out, please.
Yeah,
We're still deciding when we want to air our episodes, and we think it's going to be on Mondays, so stay tuned.
Yep. Also, make sure to check out our social media. Our Instagram is Drop Dead Sisters Podcast, and our Twitter is Drop Dead Sisters.
You guys can listen to us in iTunes, Spotify, Podbeam, Google Play, and Google Podcasts, Stitcher app, and YouTube. So you got all those options.
And in our website, I forgot to add it there, but if you go to our website, you don't even need to go to all these places. You can just listen it right then and there. If not, just use your favorite podcasting app. And please subscribe. Give us your honest 5-star review. I'm joking. listen, like podcasts, when we're trying to make it or at least trying to get more listens because we know that we can make a good job trying to bring awareness and telling the stories of the horrible things that have happened in the world. So just take the time and subscribe and give us your honest review. It doesn't really have to be five. We say that joking a lot, but we hope you do, okay?
Because we want 5 stars. Who doesn't want 5 stars,
Why can't it be like 14 stars? My favorite number.
Why not 12 then? It's
Whatever.
less and it's prettier.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, whatever. We hope that you guys tune in for our next episode, which will be our fourth. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.